questions of Nigerians living abroad when it comes to buying of land right here in Nigeria, especially in the city of Enugu. So if you're in Nigeria living in diaspora that have been looking to buy land, then this live session is specifically for you. Hello and welcome back to our channel. This is Browdy Global Enugu, and my name is Jacinta Okwa, a real estate consultant. And with me,
My name is Jesse Anoze, a real estate expert based in the city of Enugu.
so today, like you've already heard, we are a real estate company, which means we have done businesses with Nigerians that are based in Nigeria and those based in abroad. However, we understand that those based in diaspora, they have more challenges compared to the people that are right here. Because when it comes to property, is more of something that you need to be around. So when you are not around, there are a lot of questions happening or going on in your head. And that is the question we'll be answering today in this live session. Now, if you can see us clearly and hear us clearly, please type 1 and 2 in the comment section. And once you jump on live, type hashtag live and the city where you are joining us from. We would like to, hear from you. All right, so we've worked with Nigerians in diaspora, like I said, and we've compiled most of the questions that they ask. And if you're in Nigeria living in diaspora, then you definitely need to watch this live session till the end, because all the questions you have, especially if you want to buy land for the first time in Nigeria, all the questions that is coming to your head or that you have will be answered in this live section. So the very first one on our list is,
How do I verify the authenticity of a land? So many Nigerians abroad who want to buy land, and one of the things that bother them the most is how to identify and verify that a property is genuine. That's what it simply means. Authenticity of a land is how genuine that land is. And we want to answer that question on this live session where we talk about the ways in which you can verify the authenticity of a land. All right. So basically, the only way is to carry out a due diligence. What's a due diligence? Due diligence is just a brief, like, investigation questions that you can know more about the property you want to buy. So the first way is by visiting the land registry. All right. So when you're trying to buy a land, that land must have documents that you can use to verify if this land is genuine. And the only way is go to the land registry to know if that property has been registered. All right. So this is one way to know a genuine property. All right. And by second way is to actually confirm the owner of the land, who is selling that land to you. When you talk with the person, from that conversation with the person, you can know if that land is genuine or not, or you can know if that person has the legitimacy to sell that land, if he's the owner, if he has the right and the authority to sell that land. So when you're trying to buy a land in Nigeria from abroad, the two things you need to do is take the documents or take the search number in the document and go to the Ministry of Land. And every verified land, every genuine land is registered, all right? Is registered with the government. So you can go there and know if that property is registered. That's one. Two is you need to get to know who is selling that land. Yes, if you're buying from an individual or estate company, you need to meet them and understand a few things. Any question in your mind, you can ask them. And a person that is selling a genuine land will not be afraid to answer any question you have and will give you accurate answers without stuttering or missing his words because he knows this product very well, this land, and he's sure about it. So you can definitely answer whatever question or whatever doubts and address your fears to buying that land. And the second question we usually hear often is,
can I pay for a land without physically inspecting it? Well, let me answer this. You can actually pay for a land without physically inspecting it. However, site inspection is very important when it comes to real estate, whether a land or a house. You need to see what you are buying. You need to see it clearly. You need to know where the land is and whether the land you're actually looking out to buy exists. However, if you are not here in Nigeria, If you're not here in Nigeria to physically see this property yourself, there are two things you can do. Number one, you can send your trusted relative or friend to come and see that property on your behalf. Now, I usually suggest that you use somebody that already have knowledge about properties, because most times if you send someone that doesn't have knowledge about properties, at the end of the day, the person may discourage you from going ahead with the property, or the person will in turn want to, extort money from you just for the sake that you want to help you see the property. Now, I've seen cases, or we've seen cases where somebody sent a client in diaspora sent his relative to come and see a property. Then this property was selling, as at then it was selling for I think 20 million naira. Then the guy said we should put it at 25 million naira for his brother that he will pay. So know the kind of people you are sending. It's not the people that have the mentality of reaping the people that are abroad, thinking that they go out there to pack the money and spend anyhow in Nigeria. So no, that's why I said use trusted and reputable real estate, reputable relative or a friend. Then the second way you can conduct a site inspection without you being on ground is through virtual inspections. This is where you ask the realtor selling this property or the person showing you this property to buy, because most time you may not be buying from a real estate company, you may be buying from an individual. Ask the individual to make a detailed video of the property, where it started to where it ended, and show to you what the environment looks like. You need to see exactly what you are buying. It's not somebody videoing one bush like that and then sending to you, telling you is 500 square meters, come and buy. You need to know exactly where it is located, and that is why one of the things we offer as a real estate company is virtual inspections. We do that very well because most of our clients are based in diaspora. So we ensure that we do drive to the property, use drones to show the environment. You see clearly into the property that you want to buy, because you need to know where you are buying so that you know whether it fits into what you want to use it for, and then you can go ahead with it. So yeah, that's two ways you can actually pay for a land without physically inspecting it right here in Nigeria. All right, hope that is clear. So it will take us to the third um, question, which is
How long does a land transaction take to be completed? So this is a very important question actually. So people want to know how long does it take for a land transaction to be completed. Now I'm going to answer this question in a way that it's two ways. Now there's a factor dependent on the buyer and there's a factor dependent on the seller.
exactly.
Now let me start with the buyer. Now as a buyer, the length or transaction of that land will determine or rests solely on how prepared you are first as a buyer. Now you need to know what you want. That's one. Two, you need to have a purpose for what you want. All right. Three, you need to have a budget for what you want. All right. So these three things are on your own part. So once you address this part, then best believe that this last transaction is almost complete. All right. Because when you want a land or you want a house, all right, then you're going to be asked some series of questions like what do you want to use it for? And what you want to use it for will in turn translate to how much you're willing to get for what you want. I'll give you a very expressive example. Right. So I want to buy a land in Nigeria from abroad, and my goal is for the land to making me money while I'm abroad. All right. Secondly, you want to buy a land and you're looking to sell it off in a few years and probably gain profit,
Yeah.
isn't it? So first of all, you're going to buy a land that is in a developing area or a very developed area because you're looking to flip it in the next 2 years and sell it off. So you need to buy a land that's in demand. So all these things are in your own end. Then when you're being advised to the location you're going to buy it, is the budget now. Can you buy it? Are you readily available to buy it right now? All right. Because that location is in demand. If you miss it out, someone else is going to buy it. And you do not want to miss out on many opportunities that have been given to you by the person you're consulting from. All right. If you meet an agent and you're asking series of questions, he's going to roll around to give you qualifications that will fit into what you want to achieve, all right, or you're working with an estate company, they're going to provide you with document and properties in the right location. We're going to advise you on how you're going to buy that property. So if you're ready, you're going to key into it. Now, on the seller's part, when the documentation is ready, everything is going to fall in place. This is exactly when it's going to be over. All right. So the basic end of it is that when you are ready for your transaction, you're going to make a payment. After you make the payment, then they begin to process the documents for that land. It means that you're fully committed into achieving that property. And then the preparation of a document varies. There's no specific time, but everything is concluded within 4 weeks or 5 weeks at the most. Okay, and all these things only begin to happen when you've committed to it, which is by your payment. Okay, so for you to get to the end of payment, you must have settled everything on your own part. All right, your availability and readiness to buy it will now translate into you paying it. And once you've paid it, the person who's selling to you, either the individual or the estate company or even the government, they will start processing the documentation. And when your document has been handed to you, this is when you can now safely start to say that the transaction has been completed. All right. So I don't know if you're following. If you're following, drop in the comment section that you're following. If you have further questions, also drop it in the comment section while we're on this live show so that we can be moving ahead togetherly and getting to respond to you every question you have. If you can also see and hear us, let us know in the comment section so that we know we're together on this live section. And the fourth question that Nigerians who want to buy properties from abroad in Nigeria usually ask is,
How can I pay for a land from abroad? Well, there are different ways you can pay for a land from abroad. Number one is through international wires. This is where you instruct your foreign account to send money to your Nigerian account. However, uh, using a network known as
mm,
Swift network.
mm,
Now, this particular one is actually reliable, traceable, and acceptable by all Nigerian banks. So you can use that method. However, it usually involves transactions that requires a lot of money. So you can use this to send money from abroad down to Nigeria. Another way is through digital remittance apps like TransferWise, Lemfi, or Lemonade, the one you know. Then the Sendwave apps. There's a lot of apps out there. However, you should check the one that is suitable for you or the one that works in the region, in your region or the region that you are living, and use it. So another way you can send money from abroad is through traditional transfer agents such as Western Union,
mm,
MoneyGram, Ria, and the rest of them. Now, these are traditional money transfer agents where you send money to your beneficiary, the person goes to the bank, to any commercial bank, and then picks up this money and then make the payments into the real estate company account or the person you are buying this land from. However, this one usually takes some days, all right? But with the apps, you can, actually do the transaction same day. For app like Lemfi, I've seen that most of our clients who are based in diaspora, most of them now use this Lemfi app. They said that once you are using that app, it's it immediately converts your dollar into naira. Like if you want to send $200 into Nigeria, it will immediately convert it and tell you how much it's going to be in Nigeria, in naira, and then you can transfer the naira directly to the company's account or to the person that you're looking to buy this property from. So that's another way you can pay for a land from abroad. Then another way is through your domiciliary account. This is your dollar account that you have right here in Nigeria, right? Where you can send money, send dollar from where you are down to your dollar account, and somebody picks it up and then makes the payments down to the person that you're buying this property from. So these are ways you can send money from abroad to pay for land right here in Nigeria. So you just need to check out the one that works best for you. Yes, I have people that what they use more is Lemfi, I have the people that what they use through the international bank wires, where they ask their foreign accounts to send money down to to their Nigerian account, and it goes swiftly. All right. So you just check the one that works for you and you use it. So these different ways you can use it to pay for a land right here in Nigeria from abroad. So the next question that you may have as a Nigerian living abroad that is looking to buy land right here in Nigeria is
What documents do I need when getting a land? All right. So this is one of the parts of buying a land that I love to talk about because it deals with the documentation. Now, the documentation is what proves, is the legal document that proves that you are the owner of that land. So you can buy a land and not be the owner of the land. You can buy a land and then tomorrow an issue comes up and the who wins that land is who has the right documents to that land. All right, so here are some documents that you can get when you buy a land in Nigeria. All right, so documents like the C of O, which is certificate of occupancy. This is a document issued by the government to a first land buyer in a location, giving him the right to own and occupy a land. So it's a certificate, the C of O, and this is one of the highest land title documents in Nigeria. So when buying a land, you need to inquire what document does this particular land come with, and it could be a C of O, which is certificate of occupancy. This is one document you stand to get when trying to buy a land in Nigeria. All right. Another document you stand to get when buying a land in Nigeria is a deed. All right, so there are different types of deed. A deed is what transfers ownership, full ownership from a seller to a buyer. So even if you have any other document, you need to have a deed amongst the documents because it is the only thing that shows that you have bought this land from a person. Now, further questions people ask is that when I buy a C of O land, what document am I going to get? Now, a C of O is only given once. It's important to understand land document transactions in Nigeria. All right. So a C of O is given just once. So if me, Jesse, I have a C of O and I want to sell to you, Elizabeth, all right, and the document I have for the land I want to sell to you is a C of O. Now, the government will not prepare another C of O for you, Elizabeth. All right. However, what we show that I have sold this land to you is a deed, usually a deed of assignment.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will now prepare a deed and give it to you. Also, I will photocopy the C of O that I have and attach it to it and give to you. All right. This will not be a loan. Other documents you can get together is a survey plan. Now, a survey plan is that specific document, like a map that shows you your land, right? It shows you the location of your land, it shows you the boundaries, it shows you the beacons, it shows you the shape. It also shows you the size of that land. So the survey plan is showing you more like things about the land. It's telling you, it's giving you information about the land you're buying. So when you've gotten a document that transfers the ownership, you need to get a document that also shows you what you're buying into the land itself, the shape, the size, the nature, the texture of that property. And another document you might get when you're buying a land in Nigeria. This is specifically common in the southern eastern Nigeria, which is an irrevocable power of attorney. This is a document that people do not really understand much, but it is a document that is legit, legal, and registrable at the Ministry of Land. So today, when you're buying a land, check out for the documents that you're going to receive, either a C of O, a deed, a survey plan, or a power of attorney. These are things you need to look out for. You can also ask, oh, am I going to get this? Am I going to get a deed when I buy this land? Or am I going to get a survey plan when I buy this land? Always ask because the document is what we prove in front of the court, in front of the government, and in front of other individuals that you are the true owner of a land. Do not just collect a receipt, please. People have bought lands worth millions, and then the mistake they had made was just to collect a land receipt. A land receipt only shows that you sent money. A land receipt only shows that a money left your hand to the buyer, to the seller, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't show that you are the owner of the land.
They
What
just
shows
confirm.
exactly? So what shows that you are the owner of the land, the now owner of the land, is the documents in your possession. And some other questions people ask is,
So after paying for the land, what next should I do? That's another common question that we ask, that Nigerians in diaspora ask. So when you pay for a land, just like you have already explained, when you pay for a land, you need to get some certain documents, all right, which includes first maybe an acknowledgement receipt. However, it's not a title document, it doesn't transfer any ownership, but you just need a receipt that shows that the person that you sent your money to acknowledged it
you received it.
and received your money. Then the next document you need to get is the one that now transfers the ownership, like you already mentioned, a deed. So you need to get your documents, deed, survey plan, and the rest of it. Then you can now go ahead to take possession of your land.
Mm.
That's one thing I usually advise my clients or our clients. Whenever you buy a property, ensure that you have, you make move to take possession of your land. Taking possession means going to secure your land to avoid encroachment. Other people using it as refuse dump, or people using it, or people encroaching on the land, maybe start using it for a different purpose entirely from what you want to use your land. So try to secure your land. You can do that with a short perimeter fence, or with a full fence and a gate, which is the most recommended one. Put a tall fence and a gate, and then lock up and secure your land. Then another way you can secure your land is by planting trees around your land. That is a demarcation from another person encroaching the land, and then show some presence on the land, either by cultivating on the land, or you get someone that will cultivate on the land. But know this, before you send somebody to cultivate on the land, have a written agreement with the person. I've seen a case where somebody gave another person rights to just cultivate on his land. And later, the person started dragging the land with the owner of the land. Oh.
Mhm.
He started claiming that it's his land, it's not the man's own.
Mm.
So it was resulting to a lot of issues till a lawyer showed up and then helped to drive the man away from the land. So before you allow anybody to enter your land to do anything, please have a written agreement. If you are going to stay on this land for 3 years, state it there. State you are going to be cultivating only maybe cassava on the land. Somebody should not have to be planting palm trees on your land, and later you'll say, "Give me time, let me harvest my palm tree. Give me time."
Mm.
So ensure that whatever you want is stated clearly on a written paper, so that two of you are on the same side and nobody is going to drag your land with you. So it is important that after securing your land, getting your documents, ensure you take possession. Then aside taking possession of your land, you should go ahead and register your documents. Remember, according to the Land Use Act of 1978, that all land belongs to the government and is being held in trust by the state governor of a particular state, which means for anything, for any land transaction of any change of ownership on any land in that particular state, the governor must be aware. And the only way you can let a governor to be aware of your land is by registering your documents. And that is when they now call it governor's consent.
Mm.
So whenever you take your document to register it, and the governor or the commissioner of the state signs, commissioner of the land registry signs on it, it shows that the governor is aware. It also tells the public that so person have registered his documents. Another scenario is that if you have a registered document, it also prevents you from land disputes
Mm.
or from land issues. So, for instance, in the law court, what is recognized as a document is a document that is registered.
Mm.
So let's take, for instance, two people emerge as as the owners of a particular land, and two of them have deed.
Mm.
Do you know the person that will be confirmed the actual owner of that land is the
It's
person
person
that
that's
registered
registered.
his document. So after getting your land, please take more steps to register your document, especially in the cases of, or in the case of where you are going to use that land in the future. If you are just going to, resell it in few years, you may not bother. But if you're going to hold that land for a long time, please go and register your documents afterwards. So these are the things you need to do after paying for a land. You may not do it immediately, but when you are aware of it, you can plan and start doing them. All right. And if you need help with that, you can reach out to us and we'll guide you on how you can go about registering your documents right here in Enugu City. So the last question on our list. So today we're just dealing with questions, 7 questions that Nigerians living abroad ask when they want to buy land. And that is what we are dealing with today. So hopefully we must have answered the question that you have in your head. And if you have more in your head, please drop it at the comment section and we'll go live again to answer you. So the last question on our list today is
Can I resell my land when I want to? Mm.
mm,
This question is bothering on people's
yes.
minds
Mm-hmm.
because people are scared that when they buy the land and then they want to sell it off, there might be an issue. Now, I would say this here that when you want to buy it, the first step in reselling your land is when you're buying that land. All
True.
right, because you need to take careful consideration into the location you're buying that land. This is what is going to influence when you want to resell that land. All right, so it's the best way to resell your land is in time. Timing is a perfect factor that will determine when you need to resell. And what do I mean by that? Now, when you buy a land and you hold it for a period of time, one of the things that will want to make you sell your land is the appreciation that has amassed on that land over a period of time. Okay. Now, when development hits a specific location, this is a perfect time to sell that land. If you have desire to sell your land, when there is development in happening around that place, in case you bought into a place that didn't have any development at the time you bought it, but you've witnessed that over some time, development is coming in, they are doing road constructions, there's flyovers, there's bridge, there are companies around, people are living there, estates have been coming around that region, the government are planning one or two things in that area, then you can want to sell your land. Secondly, when you can want to sell your land again is when there is demand for that particular location. All right, I'll give you a perfect example. So a man in 2020 bought into a land in Enugu Centenary region. Okay, and at that time, Centenary was upcoming. It was an emerging location. People were not living there. There were not a lot of infrastructure and development there. But this man bought with strategy and vision, right? He saw the vision came in when he saw that that place is going to open up in a few years' time. Okay. And the strategy was that he bought into the location because he saw the future in that location. Then he had patience, he held that land from 2020 and now on 2026. So he held that land for 6 years, 6 full years, and he bought the land for 15 million at the time. Over this period of time, now Centenary developed. They brought in roads, they brought in infrastructure, there are basic amenities in Centenary, there are hotels, there are supermarkets, there are a lot of things. Centenary, in fact, is a surviving town or city on its own, right? Because everything is habitable in that region. Then this man now knew that it was the best time to sell because the surrounding properties in that region have gone as high as 50 to 70 million naira. And the man looked back and knew that see where he has gotten to from 15 million naira, he has watched it appreciate up to 50 million naira and down to 70 million naira. Guess what? People have really started asking about Centenary. They want to own a property there, they want to build, they want to live in there, they want to erect schools for people that are living there already. They want to build for markets for people living there. They want to generally make living comfortable in that axis. Then the man sold his land. But if he had sold before then, he wouldn't have gotten the amount of profit or appreciation he had done on that land. So, first of why I said that it begins with you buying is because you need to buy into a location that is going to experience development. Now, if you buy into an underdeveloped area, then selling that land will have to take a period of time for when development hits there and when that place is in demand. If you don't wait till all these two factors are in place, you might find it difficult to sell your land. You sell it in the future, but it will take some time. What I'm trying to say here is that you don't buy a land today and sell tomorrow. There are factors that will determine that you can sell that land, which is development, presence of development, and secondly is demand. So when you're looking to buy a land today, Look at the selling time in the future. Have that in mind when you want to buy a land today, because what you do today affects your tomorrow. All right. So these are questions, burning questions that clients or Nigerians abroad have in their minds when trying to buy a land. So we thought to bring it here for you and share these questions with you as well as the answers. Now, if you have further questions that we have not addressed here today, do well to leave it for us in the comment section, and we will get to do another live section with all the cumulated questions we've gotten from clients who want to buy land and have challenges, or they have fears or doubt, or they want to ask questions that will enable them make right choices. You can reach out to us on the numbers displayed in and around this video, and then we're going to be here to answer those questions for you. Simply, what we do is we make buying of land and properties easy for you, regardless of where you are. This is what we do. We take out the stress and make it easy for you to buy it comfortably from abroad down to Nigeria.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us till this minute. If you have watched from the beginning till now, thank you so much. And if you have more questions, like you already mentioned, drop it at the comment section. And if you need more guide, or if you need guide when you want to buy your next property right here in Enugu, then you need to check out our number in the comment section or in the description box, and then send us a message today. So till we so until we come to your face again,
Keep investing safely, smartly, and profitably.
and bye for now.
Have
See
a
you.
nice day.
Yeah, see you in the next one.